leg into the sand. Oh my gosh, I made it. Good morning. So I came back to one of my other favorite places on the island. I did a lot of channeling here that I just transcribed. So I've just been craving coming back. And the problem is a lot of people start showing up here. So I'm not going to talk very long before I channel. Not that I completely mind looking crazy in public, but also radio start and all kinds of things. So I think I know what the Heart Center is going to talk about. I want to just touch briefly on this idea of portals and presence that came to me. Happy Lion's Gate. The reason is that I love portals and I love astrological gateways and the things that pass, the ways that the heavens and our earth move, and I enjoy those who are drawn and expert in that, speaking about how these moments and gateways can work. But what I'm really drawn to right now, more than anything, is the idea of presence, that no matter what is happening around us celestially, especially when it comes to the earth, when it comes to what's happening here on the planet and with ourselves, the rhythms are part of the greater whole, but where we can make an impact both in our own connection and how we might reverberate out into the world is with our presence. No matter what is happening astrologically, and no matter what is happening celestially, no matter what is happening seasonally, that it's kind of in our moment here with the planet and ourselves, that we need to focus and be aware of how other forces may affect us. But I guess the word is just kind of harvest our own connection for whatever is needed, and bringing ourselves constantly into our bodies and our sense of where we are now, because there's always a lot happening where we are now. And the thing about portals and gateways is it does kind of, we sort of need this ritually. We need things to kind of look forward to and gather our energy towards, and those are all really important. But it's also just important day to day. I don't know about any of you, but I've been kind of struggling with it day by day. So trying to get a little more rooted. My commitment has been first thing body every single day. And that means, for me, that means exercise. Because from that strength, from that place that I create, that I connect, the way that I connect, it gives me strength to open up and be present in the world for all the craziness that we're dealing with. So the other thing I wanted to touch briefly on before I channel is I had a little epiphany while I was in LA taking care of when my dad was recovering from surgery. And that is just, for me, my big mission right now is just to be of service. And that involves a lot of other pieces. But I keep asking, with all the things going on in the world and all the things going on in the universe, what is my place? How can I be of service? Obviously, the Heart Center, this work is all part of it, but even more practically so. So what came to me really is that for me, my mission is to empower women. I love men, and I love how the divine feminine comes through any bodily form. But this is the time for, I'm going to say the divine feminine, but it has to be right now. Well, it doesn't have to be all in the form of women, but that's my tribe. And really connecting, helping women have permission to open up their voices. And I've thought a lot about voice and finding authentic, creative voices And an authentic voice to me, oh, hello, airplane. It has timbre, it has resonance, it has wideness, it has depth, it has power. It comes from a place of wholeness and love, but it doesn't necessarily only speak of love. Somebody's voice may handle very different subjects than that, but there's a connection and a place that literally comes all the way to the base of your body, like you can feel it in the vagina when you are speaking from your voice. And I'm not talking just about talking, but in the creative voice. And however this may translate for women. So it could be writing, painting, could be cooking. There's a voice through cooking. Could be being of service in the community. Could be planting and how one creates and connects with nature. So whatever that service may be, so I guess my mission is to be of service to women who are ready to be of service to their own creative power, ultimately for the collective and the planet, because we are under attack, and our strength and our power and our resonance and our connection could not possibly be touched if we all bring it up together. So this is my mission, my epiphany, and I am going to be creating a class that I think is going to be called something like, how to unlock your authentic voice. And this happened for me first as a writer when I started surfing. And I came out of a divorce and a family death and a disastrous entrepreneurial launch, and was suicidal. And so when I started surfing, it just connected this courageous place in me, and in my writing, which I'd been trying to write for a long time and I'd written a lot, it just changed. Something shifted in how I spoke on the page. And that's just continued to unravel, basically, and to open. So this is something I think I can teach, and it continued through the channeling and through really the act of permission. So much of it for women, as my good friend and therapist once said, is about giving women permission. But it's more than that. It's really learning to find this resonance, this chord that you know when you've got it, and you know how to get it in the flow. And that piece, as each one of us brings it forward, and everybody listening to this already has it, but really harnessing and really bringing it forward and really speaking with it. And I've talked a lot about it in terms of gifts, but at this point it's not just gifts for ourselves, it's gifts for humanity, for the earth, for the collective. So that's my epiphany. Meanwhile, I got to make a buck, so I'm still working. But I'd love to know from any of you if you'd be interested in a course like that, how to connect to your authentic creative voice. So with that, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. And what the Heart Center said they want to talk about is whispers. So I don't know what that means. But here we go. Ooh, feels good to be sitting on the sand back with the ocean sounds at the Heart Center. They love the ocean. Okay. Hello. The energy is bigger here by the ocean. It's interesting. When I can feel them kind of come through, it's like, ooh, like the salt air magnifies it. They're showing me a lot of pictures that I'm going to need to translate in a minute. Mostly they're showing me like the image of a gigantic wave breaking and the mist that's blowing across the land. And the light is kind of splintered, and it's these particles of mist and salt that they're kind of calling the whisper. So asking me to tell that to you first. Well, good morning, beloveds. Yes, we are whooshing through in a kind of blanket, if you will, in a kind of, we're soaring across the land in these particles of salt and light and moisture. And understanding that the moisture within each droplet contains this light, contains this salt, contains this ability to bridge the world between earth and air, bridge the world between heaven and earth, bridge the world as it moves through, permeates cells, and through the process of osmosis, moving one direction or the other as it changes in this case, in molecular size, as if within the droplet of each salty, moist space is the ability to move between heaven and earth, between body and soul, between mind and heart. All of these places, we just want you to not get into the chemistry of it so much, those of you who are chemists, but just imagine, if you will, this sort of effervescent and yet visceral organ, if you will, this organ of light and water that can move in and out and can literally permeate all things, all energy, all life, all matter. So understanding this is how we want to refer to the whisper. This is how we want to refer to the ability to transfer information, not just information, but energy, transfer light, transfer intention, transfer source energy. And so we want you to really understand the power of, well, permeability is the best way that we can put it. And that your ability to affect through your whisper is much more powerful than you think. And likewise, your ability to be affected by the whisper is much more powerful than you think. And so you are constantly being bombarded by these particles, if you will. And likewise, you are generating almost as if it is a sneeze. There is the great sneeze is upon you. So that all of you are sneezing, and whatever you are carrying with you in that moment, whatever you are bringing through your channel, whatever you are bringing through your vessel, whatever you are is pumping through your blood and your heart and your organs, this is what you're sneezing out. And likewise, this is what is being sneezed upon you. And so there is a lot going on out there. And so what we want to speak to is how you can affect your own, the metaphor is getting a little gross, your own spray, if you will. We want to speak to you about what you can do to look at not only what you take in, but what you put out and how that runs through you. And we want to offer you some shortcuts because many of you are really tied up and concerned about what you're getting very literal, and it makes sense, of course, on the body side that what you eat, of course, is what you are. It makes sense in that way, that what you drink is what you are. But what we would like to tell you is that you are much, much more than that. As if you do have within you the capacity to generate light. You have the capacity to bring in light, energy, and love, and literally transmute. And while we're not instructing you to become miracle workers, we are actually asking you to step back from your judgment of yourself in this way. That if you have the McDonald's, if you have the chocolate bar, if you just have struggled with what you're eating, if you're struggling with how you're using your body, this is okay. That this is not a place to fret. that the place that you can be more productive in this way is to just open your channel a little bit more to the light, and that you can actually affect your energetic stream, how your body and salt and water is flowing through you, even if you make a boo-boo in what you're ingesting and how you're thinking and what you're listening to. So we will encourage you to do the best you can with all those things, to listen to what is needed to support you in these times. But sometimes it's like a little bit of an infection that you need to rev up your immune system, that sometimes to sort of deal with all the negativity, to deal with all of the sneezing that's coming your way, you need a little something to rev up your immune system. And so we want you to feel better about the choices that you're making in this way, because we know that so many of you are struggling. And so we want you to feel better about the choices that you're making as you just simply cope with the onslaught of the great sneeze. We think it's really funny. So that is part one, is to just ease yourself as you manage what's happening. The other thing is to understand, how do we say this? That you can literally change your own, if you think about osmosis and how a cell, how a molecule can drift in just because it is larger or smaller, and it can come from one place and is drawn to the next, that you can actually change the size of your own screen. And it isn't something you have to force a lot of energy into. You don't have to walk around with force shields. You just simply have to adjust, almost auto-adjust. You can set an auto-adjustment for anything that has that kind of density or size or feeling, to just like literally dial down your permeable barrier. We're really getting into this. So that you don't have to let that in. And then also, we really, really suggest regular salt baths if you can't be in the ocean, because this has to literally be washed off of you, because it's like it's like a grime. So the important thing is to you don't need to shield your eyes from it. You don't need to shield your ears from it. It's important that you actually know and listen and understand what's happening, but you can dial down your own permeability, if you will. And we do recommend consistently cleansing yourself in the salt water that resonates with you, so that you are sort of setting the molecular experience, if you will. So how does this relate to a whisper? It's really, what we're really speaking of with whisper is a matter of volume. That everything that can be done does not have to be done in a yell. It doesn't even have to be spoken out loud. So long as it is spoken, so long as you can hear it, so long as you can hear it with your divine connection, so long as you are talking to your body, to your being, to the earth around you, to the animals, to the people you trust and love. All of this can be done without yelling. And when someone is yelling at you, as there is so much yelling going on right now, when someone is yelling at you, you can respond in a whisper. Not to them. However you respond to them is going to have an effect on you. But whisper first to yourself. Whisper first to yourself when that response is coming to you. And the first whisper that you'll make to yourself, well, we might suggest that you say, "What an asshole." We encourage you to not say that necessarily out loud, because that will engage you at this other level where it will rise to anger. But we allow yourself, we encourage you to allow yourself to speak the truth to yourself about that experience, and to do this in a whisper. And you will have many other things that follow that. It may be what you consider loftier than that. But allow yourself to have that experience, to whisper to yourself what you're really feeling and thinking. And then allow yourself to unravel this from within your beautifully orchestrated, I don't want to say barricaded, but as you acknowledge what's happening, it allows you to adjust again the size of what's coming towards you. So if somebody is spitting on you, if you can dial it down so that it deflects well, best case scenario, you actually shoot it back at them, although that can have its own effects. But this really got gross. But we really want you to see it. We really want you to understand that when this is happening, it's important to acknowledge the experience of what's happening to you and what it feels like, which is that somebody is yelling at you and they are literally throwing their spit particles upon you. And you may not actually be able to stop it, but you can stop it from penetrating you. And part of the way you do that is by whispering the truth to yourself. Then, remember, you're going to take a salt bath later. So you're going to get all this stuff off of you. But all of these experiences are so intensified right now. And the voice that you need to hear the most is your own. And we want to echo what Sheila was saying in the beginning of what your authentic voice sounds like. It sounds expansive. It sounds connected. It sounds humorous. It sounds wise. It sounds ultimately compassionate, but it may make its way through that. But it sounds bigger than your experience. This is the main thing we would say to you. And we want you to really tune into what that feels like. Your authentic, connected, divinely inspired voice that integrates and orchestrates all of you feels bigger than what you're experiencing. And this is why it can have all of those emotions within it, but it always has all emotions within it. So there may be humor flashed with sadness. There may be anger flashed with compassion. Everything is held within it as if that voice is its own orchestration. And so as you begin to whisper the truth to yourself in your experience, this allows you to hold all of creation within you. This allows you to deal with anything that's happening because you will always be connected and expanded. However, if you try to step into that without having your authentic moment, without telling the truth to yourself from your human place, then what you get is a disconnect, and you get a forced wisdom that leads directly to corruption. And this is what many people are doing within the alleged spiritual community right now. They will not walk through that fire. They will not walk through these tiny voices, the hurtful places. Some people call them shadow, but they're just moments of truth and experience. They won't walk through those. You have people that call this a spiritual bystep. They miss this point and they go right to some end goal. This is not going to work. Number one, those people are going to get really, really whacked out. And the people that follow them are going to get very empty so that they're literally completely incapable of hearing their own voices. So, we implore you to listen to the whisper. We implore you to tune into these subtle pieces within yourself and to understand the power of each infinitesimal experience. And to know that you always have guidance, that your guidance is always present within you in your own center channel, in your own rooting, your own connection between divine, between earth, within your body, in your own cravings, in your own feelings, in your own desires, in your own jubilance, in your own connections. All of these pieces are giving you moments of life, of expression, of connection, and of guidance for the ultimate survival and thriving of the collective here on this planet. So the key is really to bring this awareness to all that you are. Bring this awareness of the great sneeze. Bring this awareness of your ability to dial up and down, to wash off, to cleanse, to tell the truth to yourself, to allow yourself to walk through those steps, knowing that the whole you is there, that the whole connected, creative, authentic you is there to hold all of it. And so it is safe, it is allowed to begin with what is happening right in front of you, right within you, moment to moment. Trusting that it will get bigger. Allowing, knowing that it will get bigger. And from that you will have perspective. And from that you will have compassion. And from that you will have conviction. And from that you will have clarity. And your own guidance to take step by step. It has been so good to be with you. And to feel the salt spray through you. And we come to you with an enormous box of tissues from the heart center of the heart center of the universe. Okay. But that was fun. Thank you so much for being here. And hi, Catherine. Hi, Jean. Have a beautiful day and lots of love.